that my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our deaths and go off of the grid, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Thursday night to laugh at all our pain. An evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure for staying sane. And yes, we'd like to fake our deaths and go off of the grid, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Thursday night to laugh at all our pain. An evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure for staying sane.
Welcome to
God.
another episode of the Parents Lounge Parental Mental Health Night. It's a Thursday. We are.
Is it?
We have.
Is it a Thursday?
Honestly, dude, I don't know anymore. I don't know.
I really don't. I thought the same thing.
I'm sitting here right by my with my patio open, and you could hear sirens. I'm still in Los Angeles. My wife recently unpacked her bags that were by the front door that were packed for 5 days. How many days were your bags packed, Jeff?
We just unpacked last night. I don't know what we're thinking.
Every
but-
dad was like, "We're gonna be fine, dude." And
No,
every
I
mom
rolled
would-
my eyes.
and every mom,
really.
like, the cars were packed. Like it was like a tsunami where we had literally 15 seconds to get out. I was like, it's not coming. It's
My
still 6
wife was
miles.
packed, and we're in Pennsylvania. Like she
I
was.
know.
That's so weird, man. You never know, man. Those fires.
But wait, hey,
are
listen,
crazy.
I would walk out my door. One of the nights, there was a night or two. It's still like 5-6 miles away to the Pali fire, and the sky was aglow. Let's just say the sky was aglow. But
I wish I could show you a picture.
The news makes it seem like all of LA is burning.
Well-
Two very specific cities, the Palisades, horrible tragedy. Same with Altadena. But I mean, it's I got texted by literally everyone I've ever met in life. We're like, "You okay? Let's see it, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hold it up.
Let me see. I don't know if
You got to hold it up, and then
This is from our
yeah.
balcony.
That's from Jeff's balcony. That's the Palisades
wow.
fire. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's legit. It was.
It was close. Yeah. And I have to tell you, when I rolled my eyes until I heard there was that Sunswept fire, which is when there was a fire in Studio City, I was like, "Uh-oh, she's right. Damn it." Because that was
Oh,
really
the
close.
one. Yeah,
That
what's
was.
it?
You were more worried about her being right than the
Yeah,
actual.
yeah. It
So-
was more important that.
But that
was,
everyone, that was like there was 100-mile-an-hour winds. The event was that there were winds. And
Yeah.
a couple fires
Yeah.
broke out, and that you couldn't
Yeah.
stop them, or whatever.
Yeah.
But that one was just somebody lit the house on fire.
it
That-
was a 4-story building, but it was still scary that it could have spread. Who knows? But
Here's
yeah.
what I just thought that the husband and wife were fighting because the wife kept saying, "We need to evacuate," and he's like, "No, we don't." And then he killed her and lit the house on fire. I don't know if that was specific as to that
Yeah.
one, but that one was very different.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, listen, I wasn't not paying attention, but I also wasn't running around the house with the hair on my head on like running. Like we were very concerned, but we were also like. I'm really good in an emergency. I'm from the Navy. I was a Navy guy.
No, I know you're one of the best.
I'm the best.
Jamie, give the analogy about fire that you gave me about the fire on the ship. Like you and I, when we were talking, like
We had emergency drills all the time because I got news for you. On a ship in the middle of the ocean, fire is not good. There is no evacuation.
But you are surrounded by water. You can jump, right?
You could, but again, did you understand the part of the middle of the ocean? So
But aren't you swimmers?
yeah, I mean, but literally, there were times we were 1,000 miles from the nearest land, and so you
So
know,
just a quick jaunt, not
if
too
you
bad.
quite, if
Yeah.
you catch fire, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
And so I was but I wasn't like, you know, I was here for the earthquake in '94. You know,
So it was-
you deal,
yeah, that was pretty
You
bad.
sit there, you pay it like it's such a guy thing or logic, and women are pure emotion. It
Yeah.
was basically what happened. But yeah.
But I'll tell you, I've never watched KCAL local news for 2 days straight. That's the only
too.
thing that was on our TV. It really
too.
was the best.
Me too.
Amazing. I mean, to have
And
local
Watch
news.
Duty. I had the Watch Duty app, and
Yes.
I would watch.
I still
Yeah,
like it.
gotta
Max
give-
Gatson told me, he's like, look, if you rather than have to get the updates from me, I hear download this app and then you can just check on all
Yeah.
your
It's
friends.
Yeah.
It's an amazing app. It's like
Yeah.
one of the few reasons technology is good. I want to do one shout out because a really good friend of ours who he might have done this show. He did Dads in Parks with me. He's a musician. His name's John Preston. He works in the Palo Alto Fire Department, which is not close to here. It's in Northern California up by San Francisco. And he's been down here for 2 weeks. Since it happened, there's 22 guys from Northern California. I know there's also guys from Oregon. They're from Mexico. That was the other thing I told my wife. I said, listen, she goes, these embers can go miles. I go, they can. But now I went and I had lunch. I took him to lunch. And he was telling me, he goes, man, there's hundreds and hundreds of fire engines and thousands, maybe 10 to 15,000 firefighters here in Los Angeles to put this thing out. So a big tip of the cap to these, you know, these guys who are down here doing it. It's crazy. He's staying in a hotel for like 2 weeks away from his family. He told me today he was digging ditches up by the Palisades fire.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to get everything out. You know what bummed me out most is that it became a political issue. Instead of like, back in the day, it would just be a tragedy. Everybody would like run to help. And now everything is a political issue. And you're like, it's just the worst sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That was the depressing thing about it.
It is.
Just
People
help.
just use everything and anything now.
Yeah.
But everyone who's checked in, everyone's like, you didn't post anything on social media. And kind of, I really did it because I was enjoying having everyone I've ever known in life reach out. Like high school, grammar school, college people were like, hey, man, I know we haven't talked in 25 years, but you're all over the news. Are you alive?
Yeah,
And I would
know.
send them the photo because where I live is right in between, like center between Eaton and Jeff. We're right between the Eaton fire
Yeah,
and the
we're
Palisades
surrounded.
fire. And so
Would
I
have
always
been
go,
a perfect opportunity for you to disappear, Kaler.
I know. I listen. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, but
But it's been
also, wait, I just was gonna say something. I got nothing. Go ahead.
That was the end of it. That was.
I wish I hadn't interrupted you. No, it was something about. I cannot remember, man. Shit, forget it.
That's the drugs. I get it.
It's the
You know what was really hard for us was the first day of the fire was the first day my kids were supposed to go back to school after what was the longest break already. We were already at like a 24-day Christmas break, and the first day back was the first day of the fire. So my kids were home for like another 5 days. Where I was
so
like,
ours.
We have a question.
No,
Yes.
I can answer this, Screwing. I don't think you should just leave. I think you should wait your turn to hear, because the streets are crowded, probably with people already who've been asked to evacuate. So probably, I don't know. I guess you could.
Well, here's the deal. I was never worried enough to pack bags. I think only a lot of the moms were.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, and it wasn't untrue, when the winds were 100 miles an hour, the fire was moving. And so it was kind of coming like a wave, and you didn't have much time to get out. But once the winds died down, and I don't really live in a canyon, so it wasn't as windy where I was. And had there been a fire, we could easily get our stuff and get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was more a matter of everyone kind of went through their belongings to go, all right, where are the important papers? What do we
Yeah.
really need here? And my wife's like, she packed like 5 suitcases. And she's like, aren't you packing anything? And I go, no, I don't. No. I go, I think I have a watch
yeah.
and my guitar. And like,
I don't have anything.
I literally have nothing.
yeah.
I know. Part of me was
But-
kind of hoping, we have so much, we're a bit of a hoarder, the garage. I was like, man, because I've been trying to clean out the garage for a long time. And part of me was like, maybe I could
A
just
fire
burn
might help.
just the garage I could burn off.
We had
See what you're saying.
we had a concern about electrical because we are in a condo, and so our garage is electricity. So we were all wondering, should we just leave the garage door open and locked, or
Oh,
what? 'Cause
right.
That's it.
all the cars were
Yeah.
in there. Were like, if the power goes out, can we get out of this building?
Don't they have
Yeah.
like a manual turn off that you can?
I think that if a few,
Yeah.
like if 3 or 4 people could probably pick it up and hold it or something, or tie it or something, but there might be something there. But if the power goes out, I don't know if. No, there's nothing manual.
I was a destroyer sailor, Scrang. I was on the USS Henry B. Wilson, Adams class destroyer, which I decommissioned, and then I was on the Callahan, the USS Callahan, which was a kid class destroyer. And then, surprisingly enough, my character on My Boys was called Mike Callahan, so I got to wear my Callahan hat, USS Callahan hat.
Oh, that's
in the
amazing.
in the
Oh,
show.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I used to put it in my room in the show, so it was on camera.
Did they do that? Did they
Heckin' A.
know that?
They did. I told them,
They
and they
did?
were very cool
Yeah.
about it. And so
That's
I put
funny.
the hat conveniently in the shot, and then all
Yeah.
the guys I was in the Navy with would watch the show and be like, "Dude," to the Callahan. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny.
You should burn the garage down now. Yeah, I still hear. I'm hearing. Can you hear the sirens?
Oh,
Mark?
yeah.
Is that still going on?
I will tell you, like, my wife was maybe a little too emotional, but I was also, we didn't sleep very well. Because in my head, I was like, well, if I sleep for 8 hours, who knows what can happen in 8 hours. I mean, I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and definitely turn on KCAL and watch the
Yeah,
news.
yeah.
And be like, where is this thing? We were tracking it. It was like tracking Santa on Christmas Eve of like, where's Santa coming from right now?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have.
Deaf Amanda, I want to let you know I don't currently know how to turn on the CC, but I will
Oh.
look at that for next week.
Oh, see, I have it on my channel, but you're right. I don't know how it works with StreamYard. That's a good question.
Something's happening near me. I will say thank you to the people who joined us up from Twitch, especially Jeff's Twitch page. He'll be on at 9 p.m. tonight to play games. And if you
Yes.
aren't on Twitch and you're watching this and you want to go watch, Jeff has a great Twitch channel where people join
Yes, please
at 9.
do.
If you want to comment, we can see your comments best from Facebook and from Of course,
YouTube.
calling me during it. Oh, it's,
Anytime you're talking to me.
anytime I'm talking to you, it's like I'm going. Unless he's watching the show and is like, you shut up.
That's
Which she
funny.
might be. And Facebook and YouTube is the best place to have the comments and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, head over to youtube.com /the Parents Lounge and sign up, subscribe. We're here live every Thursday and some Tuesdays, and join us. It's a lot of fun that we can see your comments. You can talk to the guests. You can ask questions. All those things.
Everything you want to do.
Everything you want to do, except closed captions, because I don't know how to turn that on.
That's
Well,
funny.
you know,
Okay.
it's funny too, because my daughter now she's getting to the age. I was telling Jason earlier. It's like sometimes she's because I'm a comic. My first 2 albums, she's on the album cover of both of my first 2 albums. I'm holding her. And the second one, she's getting a little older. She's getting to an age now. She's like, hey, I don't. You can stop talking about me. Which is funny because I'm on Sirius XM. My last album's on Sirius XM. Actually, both are. And we're driving, and I have Sirius in the car because I just got a new car. And so Sirius comes on. My bit comes on, and it was the pacifier bit.
Oh wow.
I have the whole bit about her.
Oh my gosh, my favorite. That's my favorite Jamie Kaler bit.
It's called To Suck or Not to Suck. And she fact checked it. The two of them were in the car fact checking it the whole way. That's not how that went down. That's
Oh,
not
that's
how that. I
funny.
go, you were 3 years old. And Claire was 1. I go, you don't know what happened.
What
And,
holes? What holes were in that story?
I don't know. But the end, the tag is like, for those of who don't know the bit, I say you have to stop using the pacifier. So she hides pacifiers all over the house. And then the first day she goes, I don't need this. And she gives it to me. And then I find her everywhere. Num, 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 like doing the pacifier. She's got them hidden everywhere. We
She
find
can't stop.
pacifiers for like 2 years. Every time we move furniture, anything, I find another pacifier. She had hid them all over the house. It was crazy.
Oh my god.
And the tag at the end is I go, you know, at first I was pretty angry, but then I actually was okay with it because now when she's a teenager, I know exactly where she's going to hide her drugs. and she's in the car. We're on our way to school, and she hears the bit, and she goes, "What are you talking about, drugs?" And I was like, I go, don't worry about it. I tried to just.
Oh my God!
I was like, just
Remember that ice cream store you wanted to go to?
Oh my God! It's like you almost don't want to tell her like there's something that exists like drugs. Oh,
well, she's just like me, so my guess is she's gonna really like him. She's gonna like him a lot.
Oh,
Wrong number.
She'll hide him behind
my
paintings.
gosh. How's that? I want to hear it from all the audience because we have such a list of killers out there sending out jokes. How is everybody's new year? Is everybody ready for 2025? Are we ready for a good year? What are the New Year's resolutions this year, guys?
I already called it a wash.
I trying to really scale it down. I've got a whole sheet from last year. I didn't do any of it. I was supposed to read 8 books. I didn't read any books last year. But now I'm reading a book. I'm reading one book. I said, just read one book. I mean, I really got to lower my expectations. I think it's too much. I think it's like, oh man, 8 books. What was I thinking? I don't read 8 books. I can't read. I gotta get somebody. Oh man, I gotta work on that.
People are commenting. Jeff can't read.
I don't know.
You know what you gotta do, dude? You gotta do when you do New Year's resolutions. You gotta keep them really low. Like
I know.
Like read a pamphlet. You know something.
Something. Just
read the
anything.
ingredients on a box or something, but don't.
Call
Did you say what was
somebody.
it last year? You said I'm gonna read 8 books.
I said I got to read 8 books, which is entirely realistic. But at night when I go to bed, I was looking at my phone. I mean, I should read a chapter or 2 of a physical book. I think it's probably healthier for me. I mean, sleeping wise.
I think it's totally healthier. Of course it is.
But
Do you still read with kids?
no, I missed that too. That was fun.
How old
I
are your kids
enjoyed
again,
that.
Jeff?
What?
How old are your kids again?
14 and 11.
Okay,
12
so they're kind
basically.
of out of that.
Yeah, but that was a fun time, just having them on each side of me and reading.
Yeah. I still once in a while, but I will tell you to give my wife serious props. Over the last month, she read The Secret Garden, which is a serious book, with both girls. They read like a chapter or 2 a night.
Oh, wow.
And now the girls read some, she read some, and it was great. And so they do AR stuff at the school, and they have to take tests on the Secret Garden and stuff. Hannah's reading The Hunger Games now, and
Oh.
she loves telling the
Nice.
stories to Claire. And Claire's like, wait, back up. They're killing kids? and Hannah's like, yeah, the kids are killing each other. Going nuts on the Hunger Games.
That's funny.
So, yeah. And I go, it made me laugh so hard.
They're killing kids.
And Claire's like, wait, kids die in that book? And she's like, oh, lots of kids die in
Oh, so many kids.
Almost all of them.
Claire's so
Do you
obsessed
do you
with
do you do what we do, which is if they read the book, they can watch the movie, like we did that
Yes,
for
yes.
Harry Potter and yeah.
Yes.
was a
Unfortunately,
good
my kids
system.
watched Harry Potter. I tried to have my kids read Harry Potter, and they weren't biting.
Really?
I had read one. I dated a girl many, many years ago, and she challenged me to read one of the Harry Potters. She loved Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah. My
She
And
son-
what
went to
did you think of
London.
it?
It was fantastic. I read
Yeah.
the second book, and I read it, and I was like, yeah, it's a really good book.
yeah.
I didn't read through school. I was Cribnos guy. I had I've told you this before. I had massive concussion senior year of high school where I got knocked unconscious, and so my whole senior year I couldn't even see playing
From
soccer.
what sports?
Soccer. I put the other guy in the hospital. I went up to hit a ball, and I hit this guy right in the temple and knocked him out.
Oh my God.
He went to the hospital for like months. I threw up for like 3 days. But back in those days, you just got your bell rung. I'm
Yeah,
sure I have CTE, but I did not. They were like, I don't think I missed a game or school.
Oh my
No protocol,
God.
no anything.
Did you say you were
And,
unconscious?
Knocked unconscious for sure. They
Yeah,
dragged-
you back in those days, you just had to walk off the death.
They carried me off the field. Yes, exactly. So I didn't really read through college much either. I didn't love books, and
my God.
so back in my 30s, we were doing a ton of improv. And when I was doing improv, I saw that the guys who were super well read were way better at improv. And I don't know why, but in my 30s, I went back and I read the classics.
Well,
read
especially
Grapes of-
Shakespeare, like those kind of classics.
Yes.
Yeah, they knew
Dude,
it.
I want to read. I'm going to read Romeo and Juliet with my kids, and I'm going to have us read it out loud. And I went back and I read that Grapes of Wrath. Like I read Moby Dick. I read a ton of books. I read. I went back, and then I loved Crichton, and I read.
Oh, Crichton's so
I
good.
love Crichton and Stephen King. I know
Coma.
people like he's so prolific, but some of those books are just absolutely fantastic.
That's
And
what-
so I ended up reading, but then
That's
I
what I'm reading.
stopped. Which one?
That's what you're reading, Jeff?
Oh, 11,
Look
12.
at the
yes.
size of this.
Yeah, it's a big one. He
Huge.
like the stand is too big.
I
You're
love
like, dude.
Stephen King. Yeah, yeah.
But go back and read like The Shining.
Yeah.
Or like books that were made into movies.
Dead
You know
Zone?
they're making The Running Man right now.
The remaking.
Really?
Yeah, they're remaking The Running Man. I want to say it's Glenn Powell. It's gonna be
Oh.
really good. The Stand's so good.
The Stand's so
Stand
good.
is so good.
I love. You ever read Dead Zone? Is also a very good
Oh,
book.
so good.
I didn't read that.
But it's hard to top the movie with Walken.
Yeah, it's pretty
Your
good. But
son, he's gonna fall through the ice. I'm like, oh.
didn't they make fun of that on SNL? Like,
They've made fun of it everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? It's so
Oh my
good.
God.
So good.
yeah,
So
so
my-
many good books.
It's hard because my kids, kids nowadays, why would they like reading when everything's a video game and TikTok and stuff that's like this, and then reading's like.
Yeah,
And so I make them read at night. I
Yeah,
really make
yeah.
them read, and I check up their chapters or whatever. But I wish they just. There's other kids that I have friends who have kids, and he goes, my kid just loves reading, and I go, how do you find one of those kids?
well, yeah. My kids, my daughter's reading Harry Potter, but my son loved Harry. He does read a lot still. But you know what the problem is right now? I have nightmares about it, like an avalanche of devices. Like he's now got his first phone, so now he's got a phone, he's got a pad, and he's got 2 computers because he's got a school computer and his own laptop he bought. And if he's not on one, he's on the other. It's like relentless. Like
It's relentless.
you got to tell him to get off if he's not on one, and he goes, and he has VR, so it's like he circles.
Oh, Jesus. So he's plugged in constant.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
For
it's
me,
pretty-
dude, Christmas break was like I remember my parents just going get away from the TV, right? Right. He's almost Voltron. That's funny.
I know he's
right?
close. Yeah.
My kids, it's hard to get them to go outside and do like Christmas break was painful. I'm like a hostage negotiator every day where I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, if you do this for 2 hours,
You can do yes.
I'll let you. Yeah, if you clean the kitchen and help and do your chores, I'll give you
Yes.
35 minutes on your iPad for Roblox.
Have some
If
balance.
you do 2 IXLs, and I don't want to play this stupid game all day. It's so painful, man.
Yeah.
Deborah K. Deborah, how are you? The only book I remember reading all the way through in high school was the
Mhm.
story of Sid and Nancy.
I don't know the book, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time because it's Gary Oldman as Sid Vicious.
Which what was
do
it
you know
called?
that movie, Sid and Nancy?
Oh yeah.
It's so.
That's the first time I
good.
saw him.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
one of
in
his
that
first
movie?
roles.
Gary
Yeah.
Oldman. That's the first time
He plays Sid Vicious. Gary
Yeah.
Oldman does. Yeah. By the way, I want to give a little shout out to the magnificent true artist David Lynch passed away today.
Oh, I know.
Oh, God.
No, I'm gonna top you. Who else passed away today? Bob Euchre.
Did he really?
Euchre passed.
Yes.
Ugh.
I love David Lynch, but Bob Euchre
no.
made me laugh.
Bob Euchre's hilarious. He's been doing the Milwaukee Brewers games forever. But
Yeah, but you're right, David Lynch. I mean,
just a bit outside. For me, David Lynch was, dude. Blue Velvet was. I was in college when Blue Velvet came out, and I played. I played on the Ultimate Frisbee team my senior year. We had a club team, and we traveled the whole East Coast playing frisbee, Ultimate Frisbee. Super fun. And Blue Velvet was so big, like people quoted it.
Yes.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh my God, that's what I did.
Baby wants Blue Velvet. And we would do the
Oh my God.
as Frank Booth,
And
and
he's Yeah.
and he'd say what?
No, I'm confusing it with River's Edge. It was
That one's hard to watch.
Dennis
They're
Hopper was Dennis Hopper in both.
He's in both. Yep, and he's in Hoosiers. He had that great run.
Oh my
He's
God.
Frank Booth. He goes Heineken. Fuck that shit. Pabst Blue,
Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh my God. And
So
what is
we-
it? Dean was like
Dean
yeah.
Stockwell. He goes, the candy-covered clown they call the Sandman tiptoes through my
God.
dreams late at night.
Was
just
Christopher
to whisper
was
stardom.
Chris?
And he whispers.
Oh man, who was in
Go
Back
to
to the Future? Was he in that Blue Velvet? No.
Crispin Glover's in The River's Edge.
That
You're
kid, I'm
literally
confused.
merging. You're
I'm
merging
merging.
two movies.
He's
my God.
literally merging together those two movies.
Crispin Glover is the guy in River's Edge who's like,
Yes.
he's like, Jamie's dead. John's alive. We
I know.
gotta take care of John.
You know what? I'm mixing two. He was in Wild at Heart. I'm making my lunch. But Wild at Heart was
He
my.
is in Wild at Heart, which
That
is
was my
David
fav-
Lynch as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. Wild at
He
Heart.
goes, what Nicolas Cage is doing is like Elvis Presley the whole time. It's so over the top.
Oh my God. Those Blue
Jeff, you have a
Velvet.
book suggestion?
Oh my God.
Jeff,
Yes,
I
Greg
Oh,
says,
100
Jeff, I think
Years
you
of
take 100
Solitude.
Years of Solitude as your one book. This is not a troll or bit.
Okay,
He's
I'm
right.
gonna write-
It's a
I'm gonna write it
classic bit. I started it one time, 100 Years
What
of
am I writing
Solitude.
down? Hold on.
Gail Garcia. Who wrote it?
100
Who's the
Years of
writer?
Solitude.
They just made it into a miniseries on Hulu, I believe, or Netflix. I can't
100
remember.
Years.
Gabriel
of Solitude.
Garcia Marquez.
Gabriel
Oh,
Garcia
I've heard of that
Marquez.
guy.
Very famous, very famous. I
Oh.
started it. It was wonderful. I don't know why I stopped. Something happened and I stopped reading it. I should go back. That's one of the
Kids.
one.
Probably kids.
Kids happen.
Oh my God.
Anyway, we're on the Ultimate Frisbee team. Blue
Yes.
Velvet is huge. I went to Boston University, BU. So we were the BU Velvets was the name of our team.
Oh.
We had the big B,
Oh.
the big U with a little
That's
L,
funny.
a little E. And our coach wore a blue velvet jacket. And
my God.
I couldn't take part, but I mean, it was Ultimate Frisbee, and it was college in the 80s. So they would call timeout, and everyone would circle around the coach with his blue velvet jacket, and they'd rip bong hits and then go back and play Ultimate Frisbee. It was the
Oh
best.
my God.
Oh my
That's
God,
funny.
we did tournaments in like Florida, up and down the coast. It was crazy.
Do you still play? Are you done?
I haven't played in years, but there used to be a running game up here in North Hollywood. I would go and play. My buddy Peter Winther, who went to college with me, lives right
Oh,
here
yeah.
too. He's a director, and we used to go play a little bit. But dude, I haven't. Those days are long past. But
Oh my God, Frisbee.
but I
That's
couldn't.
funny.
I was Navy ROTC, and so I was always afraid I would get piss tested. So I couldn't. I never smoked. weed.
Oh, right.
So I was like the
Oh my
one
God, you
square
couldn't
on the
smoke at
team.
all?
They were like, "You can't smoke." I go. They'd always actually like move away from me, so I didn't. Because yeah, if you
my
pop positive,
God.
you lose your scholarship, and you go.
Yeah.
They just send you right into the Navy as an enlisted
Yeah.
guy, and you're like, oh, I would rather stay here in college. But so yeah, it was really
Wow.
funny. But it was so much fun my senior year.
Well, Blue
But
Velvet.
yeah,
those
so
movies
David
are
Lynch,
so
true
stunning.
artist,
Yeah.
also transcendental meditation, huge.
Yes, and
you ever-
a painter and a singer. I mean, a musician too.
I posted a clip today, and it's one of my favorite clips of him. He loses his shit on set. He's yelling
What movie?
because I don't even know what movie they're shooting.
Oh, that's
but the
funny.
first AD is telling him they got to get the shot list done, and he's like, "This is art. What are you doing?" He goes, "What are you talking about? We're on stage. I'm shooting." And he's
my
talking
God.
about like they're like there's a but. He goes, "We only have Beverly for 2 days. That's the limit of the contract." You have to. I'll have to play the clip. It's on YouTube.
That's funny.
He did it a handful of times where people were like, "Hey man, we got to move," and he's like, "Hey man, I'm making art. I don't give a fuck what you're doing right now, dude."
That's funny.
He goes, "I got a vision."
Yeah.
And I read this story about in Twin Peaks, they come in to the coroner's office and there's a scene and there's a moose head on the table. Super famous scene. Nobody mentions the moose head. The whole scene goes on. No one mentions the moose head. The moose head makes the scene. Everyone's like, what's up with the moose head? It's like this crazy symbolic thing in the
That's-
art form. And then they talk to him later, and he goes, the props guy came in with the moose head. He was going to hang it on the wall. And before he could hang it on the wall, he put it on the table. And Lynch was like, leave it right there.
Oh, that's amazing.
And shot the scene around the moose head. And
Oh
then
my
everybody,
God.
it's like, I didn't love all of his movies. Some of them were like Lost Highways. It's a hard watch. But you definitely, it evokes
Mulholland?
emotions. It's
Yeah.
like an art piece, man. Some of them
Yeah.
like you're like you connect with, but they're like Blue Velvet's dark.
When I was in college, Eraserhead was a big
Huge.
movie. Yeah.
But Eraserhead's a tough watch. It's a tough watch.
Yeah, it is.
But back in those days, you could pay attention and like you weren't like, what the fuck is this? You like go, I don't know what this is, but I've got to watch the rest of this thing.
Well, I felt that way about Mulholland Drive. I didn't know what was going on. Oh my god.
What is that? What's the one with Robert Blake and the white face where he's like, "Call me, I'm at your house."
That
And
might
then
be
Bill
Mulholland
Pullman.
Drive.
I think it's Lost Highway. I want to say it's Lost Highway.
God, there's so many.
And Twin
I'm sure.
Peaks, man, Twin Peaks.
Oh,
Dune.
Twin Peaks is fantastic.
And he did the
but
first
but
Dune.
esoteric and crazy all over the place.
It
But,
was,
like,
yeah, it was so out there, man.
But
Back
he's a
in the,
visionary.
like that was like the show back when that
Yeah.
first came out.
And you know, he did the original Dune, the first Dune, and he did Elephant Man.
He did Elephant Man.
He did Elephant Man.
It was nice he did that story about me.
But if anyone who lives here in LA, he did. That's not good. If you called a number, he did the weather report every day,
Oh, really?
and it ended up being on NPR. They would play it on NPR.
That's
and
really
so-
funny. Every day?
Yeah, and he would tell you a song, and I found a lot of songs through his weather report. He'd be like, "It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. The sun is up, cool breeze. It's a morning like this that reminds me of a famous song called Roads by Portishead. Have a great day." And it was David Lynch. Every
Oh,
day
that's-
he had
that's
another
funny.
one. And you could call into this number and get David Lynch telling you the weather every day. It was great.
Oh my god, I did not know that.
And,
That's funny.
I feel like guys like that, like directors, are kind of a dying breed. Where,
Oh, for sure.
dude, he only made like 10 films, maybe.
Yeah.
Like Tarantino, is he at film 10 yet? You couldn't do that. You couldn't make a living now
Close, yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. It's like, who's the guy that did oh my god, hold on a second. Dr. Strangelove. He'd made like 4 movies, didn't he, or 5?
Kubrick.
Kubrick-
Tarantino did exactly 10, Kaler.
Kubrick did like
that's his
5
10th. It was
movies.
supposed to be his last, but I think he's supposed to do. Kubrick did
Did like a movie every 10 years, it felt like.
something like that. He did Paths of Glory, 2001.
But he did Dr.
Shining, Eyes Wide Shut.
He did the Vietnam one.
Which,
He did what was the Vietnam?
oh my God, yeah, I love that one with
Kubrick
Matthew
did
Modine.
13.
Matthew Modine is what's it called? I keep
Dead-
thinking Apocalypse now, but it's the other one. It's Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Yeah.
I'm in a world of shit. Vincent D'Onofrio just owns that. And Arlie Ermey. I met him at a GI Film Festival, and I was like, nice to meet you, Arlie.
Was he terrifying?
He was the nicest cat ever, dude. He was awesome.
That's funny.
He's a fucking great guy.
Um,
Boy, you earned it. We say that all the time. You eat it. You earned it.
is that the guy that was the squad
He's a platoon.
The
He was the
platoon leader,
platoon
yeah.
leader.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's so good. But I think films like that too. It's funny too because the one good thing about not having the news cycle turn over every 20 minutes is that when something was great, everybody saw it.
Yeah.
And it kind of
yeah.
unified us. Like everybody saw that.
Yeah.
Now your best
There's an
friend can
event.
tell you about his favorite movie on TV, and you're like, I never even heard of that thing, dude.
No.
It just everything comes and goes, and people are like moving on, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
Unless
there's
it's
so
some
much.
tentpole thing. It's so much garbage out there. It's crazy, man. Like this.
I think Squid
horrible
Games
garbage.
is like, I think some things are just an anomaly now.
Yeah,
It's too bad.
that's funny. Does MASH hold up? I don't think it does. And I've watched a couple old episodes. But what's funny is, what was it? Still the highest rated show of all time, right? That
Right, the most people that watched a series
The
finale ever, was that
finale,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do a joke about the fact that the moon landing, I think, was the highest rated television of all time, right? It's like 3/4 of the earth watched it, the moon landing. And all I could imagine was the other quarter just like, what were you doing that day? That you
Yeah.
were just, I don't have time, Jamie. No, we're
Were you
landing on the
busy?
moon.
I
It's
just
not what
missed it.
I'm trying to watch some old Three Stooges episodes. I don't have time to watch.
They were
How did
playing
somebody-
Frisbee.
I do think that with social media and stuff, we talked earlier about the fact that people are politicizing things, and we have talked about the fact Amy says David Lynch still did the weather reports every day on YouTube.
Oh,
until
really?
his emphysema got to be too much.
Is
He
there a
changed-
recording of them? There must be some recording.
I didn't know they're on YouTube, Amy. That's really great.
Well, they've got to probably still be there then.
Yeah, I would
Because you
think
could
so.
go back and just start on January 1.
Oh yeah, because if they were old, your weather wouldn't be necessarily right.
Yeah.
But
just the tone of his voice is so sweet.
Yeah.
But I do think like his positivity and stuff is something that is a dying breed because, and this is why I always say social media is going to be the downfall of civilization because you're rewarded more for negativity than you are for positivity. A negative comment garners way more reaction and follows, and you're rewarded for it's all about numbers, and so there's no upside to being a positive, nice person because it doesn't spread like wildfire. They've created this algorithm and we are inherently want to cause controversy and it's just spreading and spreading. And so now, dude, I don't remember ever a time when some national tragedy would befall us and people were like, fuck you. We were like,
I know.
Hey man,
Oh my God.
people lost lives and homes. What are you talking about?
yeah, and then it was deserved, and I'm like, what? What is wrong with you people?
Yeah. It's like when Haiti had a horrible earthquake, and then some of the religious fanatics were like, "Well, that's just God telling he don't like Haiti." And you're like, "Well, what happens when you had the hurricanes in North Carolina and other? Was that just something else?
Was that different? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I know.
It is.
There's
crazy,
always that.
man. It's crazy.
Just to equate this with movies too, there was this period, like 60s and 70s where movies like Easy Rider or whatever that were, and then this is another thing that happened was they came out with the movie gross that movies made, The Weekend Gross, and that changed everything.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, when did that come along at Easy Rider?
That came along at like I'm going to say like the mid 70s or something, and people looked at that and like it's over. Like we're never going to be. There's not going to be any more creativity anymore. It's all going to be based on the numbers now. It's like,
it is. There's a fine line, It's like I consider myself an artist in a way, but it's unfortunate because it's a business, and and so the people who are best at it are also really good business people. And I get it. Yeah. Social media amplifies nut jobs, and the normal majority just doesn't speak up and tell them to sit the fuck down. I think the normal majority does to a degree, but it's like Sisyphus pushing the rock up, where you're like, at some point, who was the best was George Carlin. Yeah. He called it out. He said things, so did Frank Zappa. He's like, here's how this is going to play out. And everyone's like, bah, and they laughed and laughed. And he's like, he's been proven right in almost every single aspect of human nature, of what's happened to us. I've told this before, too, that I think when I grew up, I thought humans were inherently good and that there was a small portion of people that were evil. But I think it's kind of flipped. I think people are inherently bad because we're trained to be bad. And it's hard. It's hard to be good.
We've become Pavlovian with bad because we're rewarded for it.
It's like monetarily, people are making, like, you look at these guys like Fuck Jerry or whatever, who are total plagiarists, or some of these hate speech guys who are saying terrible things. And, some of them may believe it a lot, and some maybe don't truly believe it. But it's their brand. It's their business. Like Alex Jones or somebody of that ilk of like they're selling, penis pills and powder and making a shit ton of money off of gullibility by being super negative. And the people I do see who are super positive, a la David Lynch, are kind of relegated to a back seat. That I think it has to be changed, or it will just keep spiraling. I don't know how you change it, though, because now the genie's out of the bottle.
I know, but I think Good Dog's right. It's like those people were always there, but I think like Alex Jones, a guy like that, has always been around, but the social media has just brought him to the surface even more.
Dude, he made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Kylie Jenner's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Billionaire. for being like, for photoshopping her body and maybe giving kids terrible body image stuff. And I get it, you're a model and
She
you're trying
affected me. That's
to. It's
why I
not,
struggle.
People have done some terrible things.
you can't fault the Kardashians. The system's there, and they monetized it to an extent that is insane. But at some point, you're like, you're not helping people out. I don't think.
I still
Is there a way
hope.
to talk shit to people in a positive way? I don't know, Greg. You got. God damn it, Jeff! You are a good-looking man. God, dude, so.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I still believe in humanity. I'm going to stick with that. There's more.
I
good.
want it to be that way. I
feel-
want it to.
I just think we're like, if there's a fire, if there's a car on fire, I think most people would go and try to help. Like, I think there's a
I think some people would start filming immediately.
maybe, but oh man, I don't.
I
know,
think there
man.
are, of course. I think human nature kicks in.
Yeah.
For life, I would like to think that it would. I will tell you, I'm a little more gun shy about helping people because sometimes something happens where somebody asks me of something and I'm like, wait, what's the scam? What are you doing?
I know.
I had an incident. I was just out of college, and a buddy of mine were coming home one night, and we saw somebody had wrecked their car, and we stopped to try and help, and they weren't in the car, and when we all of a sudden heard the noise, they tried to steal our car.
Yeah,
they tried to get in and steal our car.
Yeah.
They had been clearly drinking, and
I think when we grew up, dude, when I grew up, we hitchhiked.
Yes.
When's the last time you saw a hitchhiker? When I was young, you would drive and you would see hitchhikers. And 50 to 75% of them were all murdered. Not two ways about it. They were very
They're
murdered.
6 feet under most.
Did you ever pick up a hitchhiker,
6
Jamie?
feet? What are you talking about? Serial killers don't do. They
6
shallow
inches
graves.
under. Yeah.
Maybe a foot tops.
Sorry.
Maybe
In
it's
the
just some
bottom of the
topsoil.
lake, yeah.
But nowadays, man, he's right. I go anytime. Like, I've been like driving and I've seen people pulled over, especially with my kids in the car. No chance am I pulling over.
No chance.
Which sucks because my brain's like, you should pull over, and I go, no, and I go, yeah, it's only one chance in 100 that we're gonna be serial killed, but that's enough for me. I'm not taking it.
Yeah, with
It
my kids,
sucks.
it's not a gamble I will take.
No, I know, and it sucks. I think people were more apt to help people back then, and I think nowadays, I think more people are on guard, or honestly would like to film it and then monetize your pain in a weird way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Greg says fire stations and animal shelters had to turn away items because they were at max in capacity during these Cali wildfires.
Yeah, I love
absolutely true. We took stuff. My wife actually took a bunch of old clothes, and which for her was really nice clothes that were barely worn, and we donated a ton of stuff. So that's the problem too with donation, is like everything gets fluxed in, but I think it'll still dole out because there was this young girl from Altadena, high school girl, who started a Altadena girls page that my wife raved about, and some of the big celebrities actually shared. I think some of the Kardashians did, and so listen, they are very supportive of charities for sure, But I just feel like sometimes the money's made, in a way that isn't the best for society. But sure, they dole out some crumbs to, let them eat cake. I get it.
Shanana says you don't need a hitchhike now. You can just order a stranger to pick you up through your phone.
That's even better.
Oh my God, some really good comments tonight. That's so funny. Sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Hitchhiking.
Serial killers ruin everything. By the way, I mean, has there been more serial killers on TV than there has ever been in real life?
What is going on? Yeah.
He's used to predate.
It's people are obsessed.
Yeah.
As Scrang says, that's from Casino. He goes, and you better have that hole dug, because you get out there and you spend an hour digging a hole. All of a sudden, somebody comes along. You got to dig a second hole.
What's that from? Wait.
It's from Casino. It's
Casino.
Joe Pesci.
Funny.
He goes, yeah, a lot of holes dug out in that desert there.
Oh my God.
Please check out the Jeff Lewis 5-minute comedy hour on YouTube.
Oh yeah, sorry, that comes up, doesn't it?
There'll be some new stuff on the Jeff Lewis YouTube page coming up soon, I believe.
Someday,
There's a new product coming out.
Who would be the first to do an OnlyFans Uber crossover? I don't know, man. OnlyFans. That's
Too
crazy.
late.
Yeah, it's happened.
It would be really funny to do OnlyFans.
How do you do that?
I am 100% sure that if I dressed up as the Grinch, I would make a killing.
How can you do that if you're not? I mean, can you do that? Is there?
Don't take
know.
the name, Jason, so you don't have to. They won't sue you. Just call it the Grunch.
Somebody's tried to do that, right? Who is not that kind of person. I mean, who is not in those. I mean, surely some.
Do you remember when crazy people weren't like the main form of entertainment in this country? Do you remember that?
I do, but it's a fading memory.
When it was
It's been
scripted.
so long.
More than reality.
Every time I open Deadline, it's like reality star robs bank, reality star drives their boat into a hotel, reality star
Does porn.
Yeah, it does. Crazy. People
Yeah.
love true crime. I like True Detective, but other than that, I
There is
got one for you.
that's
then.
true. A lot of true.
Oh,
crime.
narcolepsy came up with a name I can use.
Great inch. Oh, that's cool. So I read. I auditioned recently for one of the Alec Murdaugh.
Oh yeah.
For you guys out there, you know who Alec Murdaugh is. He's the lawyer in South Carolina who got into some trouble. And there's been like 17 documentaries and 4 different shows. And so I auditioned for it. So I went back and I watched a true crime doc, and I loved it. I was like, oh, it's so crazy. And then, as soon as you watch one true crime doc, then Netflix or whatever is like, hey, we know you like true crime docs. Check these out. And you're like,
Oh.
what's this one? And it was on HBO Max, and it was called Mind Over Murder. It's insane. Sometimes when you watch a story and you're like, these 6 people murder this old woman. It's horrific.
Oh.
5 of them admit to it. One of them does not. He's like, I wasn't even there, dude. The main guy. And the other 5 go to trial. They plea it out. They admit it. They testify him. Turns out none of them were there. It's insane.
They made it up?
It's insane. It's fucking crazy. The
Mind over matter.
the cop, mind over murder.
Murder.
The cop kind of,
Makes more sense.
he has this one guy who is gonna go to jail for something. So he's like, hey, I can tell you something about the other thing. He rats out his wife, who wasn't even there. Kind of convinces her. He's like, you were there, and she's like, I was. I guess I was. And so she starts implicating others after the cop goes, wasn't this guy there too? And she goes, I think he was there. He
Oh
gets
my
in.
God.
They tell him, he goes, we got you. If you don't want to go to the death chamber, who else was there? And then the cop was like, how about this guy? Was he there? And the guy's like, he was definitely
my
there.
God, they
And it
convinced
goes
him
down
of
the chain. They're looking for a blood match. And so they looked at this one guy early on. They go to do the blood match. They send it to Kansas City to this woman who's the master of blood. Turns out she wasn't. 60 Minutes ends up doing a story on her. They have to go back through all of her files. She wasn't testing blood the right way for DNA.
Oh, I
So
remember that.
So the murderer was the first guy they tested who they thought did it. And they go back. Luckily, they keep a sample of his blood. Everybody does 20 years. They're in jail for 20 years. Finally, the one dude finds a lawyer, and he goes, 20 years in, he's like, hey, man, I'm telling you, I didn't fucking do this. So the guy goes back. They retest everybody's blood of the 6. They go, yeah, we have 100 different DNA samples from the room.
Oh.
None of these 6 people were in that room. They finally go back. They retest all the other blood, and they go, bingo, first guy. And that woman who tested all their blood was like, she fucked it up for like hundreds and hundreds of cases. It's insane.
Oh my
Absolutely
God! Did she do it
insane.
on purpose or?
No, and then she ends up
just an
dying
idiot.
later. But she goes, I did it to the best of my ability. And it just goes to show you, humans are just fragile. the fact everyone's in shock that these people would admit to it. 6 people admitted. 5 people of the 6. You got to watch it. It's called Mind Over Murder, and it's on HBO. And it's just one of those, and it's all the trash of the city. Like, you see these people, and you're like, you can read one of his. The guy's almost illiterate, and those are the people that you're supposed to take care of, and that the cops are like, they just want to get the case solved, and they just are blasting people out. And it just shows you the inequities of human and the frailties that we all have. And you're watching this thing, it's like 5 episodes. I'm like, wait, what?
Wasn't
and there's
there
like
that guy
hundreds
that-
of those stories.
That guy that just, it was just a few months ago, like, or maybe it was, I don't know what it was, but a guy was convinced, the cops convinced him that he killed his uncle. And like, his uncle was fine the next day. But his uncle was missing. His uncle was missing. They were like, you killed him, didn't you? And he said, no. And then they hours they spent. It's like, I did. I killed him. And then the next day, it's like, the uncle's like, dude, I went to St. Louis. And he took a plane. He just didn't tell his nephew where he was going.
That's why.
Oh
These
my God.
aren't isolated stories either. There's so many of these stories of like, and it's like the old thing where they would go eyewitness testimony. You know what's funny, dude? Like, we're from an era where, my childhood is not very well photographed. I have memories that are like flashes in my brain
So
of my
little.
childhood, of high school. Not a lot of photos, man. You might get like one photo on your birthday that year.
know,
But there's
I
a whole
know.
few years of my life where there's not one photo of my life. And I still see it in my head in a certain way, but I guarantee you, if you showed me video of that, it wouldn't look anything like my memory of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have like 3 photos
'cause,
of
like,
myself
you're
in
only
college.
getting it from like your perspective, so it's interesting to think about.
But it's weird because, let me ask you this, and I think this is an important question about how people see themselves. My memories are super positive. Like, things look good. Like, whether it was like girlfriends or such, I remember things in a great light.
Yeah.
Even though maybe in retrospect, if I talk to other people who were there, like, ugh, that was a
was not
shit
good.
show. It did not look great. And I think other people see, they always say see things through rose-colored glasses, but I think some people see things. Actually, I had a huge conversation with Hannah tonight. They have a text chain. They're in 6th grade, text chain with the girls. And so I can see their texts.
They have phones?
I looked
Or
at all,
they have
I went through the
pads?
text. No, she is on her iPad, and they can text
Yeah.
each other on their iPad. And I was reading her text, and I had this huge conversation. I said, I know you're joking, but if you read this through someone else's mind,
Yeah.
it's mean. It's not funny whatsoever. And I know that because I'm a sarcastic person. And so sarcasm doesn't work in a text chain. It comes off like you're a dick. Is what
Yeah.
I said. I said, you came off like a dick. You got to be careful about what you're texting. And I think that's a huge problem as well. Like, social media is negative, but also people have, even if you have a positive intent, people read things through their own vision.
Right.
So
Yes,
you could
that
be-
happens a lot.
You could mean something in the nicest way, and they take it in the absolute worst way because there's
Yeah,
no tone
yeah.
of voice, there's no intonation.
Like,
Yeah,
what
the
does
And
that
so
mean?
inflections,
they're
What does
just
that mean?
reading it.
Yeah.
It's the same way people can read 2 different books or one book and get totally different points of view from it. And so I think it's dividing us in a way because kids are not using their voice to talk to each other.
Yeah. Like, people say, what does that mean? Like, that's yeah.
You mean when you text them, they go, what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm saying that's, people take that immediately as something bad.
What
Oh,
Spring
like
is
you're
abs-
being an ass.
What Spring
Yeah.
is saying, I think, is I think a huge percentage of the population does things this way. I'm guilty of assuming everything is about me and negative.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with that. And I think in I would argue most people have serious insecurities. We try to
absolutely.
conquer them with everything. And so when somebody says something, you're right, Jeff. It's like, wait, was that about me? What did you mean by that? And you're like, dude, I'm nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's not about you. But we all are the center of our own universe.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes people are just
It's
joking.
Deborah
but-
King's birthday tonight. Deborah,
Yeah.
she
Oh.
got VIP tickets for our live show in Sayre. Happy birthday, Deborah! Thanks for always coming out and supporting us and being
Yeah.
at all our stuff and coming and watching the show live. Happy birthday to you.
Which, by the way, Deborah, this brings up a very important point that I thought about this week, because every week at my kids' assembly on Monday, they sing happy birthday to any kids that have their birthday that week.
Yeah.
And I would argue happy birthday is the worst song that's ever been written. And I'm done singing it. I don't think I'll ever sing it again. I hate the song.
Yeah.
It's whoever wrote it, they made a ton of money on it.
It's annoying. I agree.
I measured the time. It takes about 20 seconds to sing it. How many times have you sung or been part of Happy Birthday to You in your life?
Thousands. I mean,
Thousands.
I
Okay,
agree
do the
with
math.
you.
Every 3 times is 1 minute.
Yeah.
How many minutes wasted singing Happy Birthday? By
We
the
would
way,
have to do this.
does anybody like Happy Birthday sung to them? Over the age of 3?
I don't like it.
Nobody likes it.
I don't like
do
it.
I do like cake. I do like presents, but
Cake's
I don't
fine.
like.
No,
Yeah.
the party. I'm okay with the party. But they have this thing,
I'm okay with
instead of
party.
like, everyone knows once they sing Happy Birthday, the party's over. Instead, what if we just go, party's over? Or, because here, listen to the song, Happy Birthday to You. Okay, I got to come up with a second lyric. I don't really have any more words. How about, what if we just sing it again? Happy Birthday to You. You've sung it twice. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it the first time. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, dear. Well, let's personalize it.
Yeah.
Let's put somebody's name, which nobody knows. Half the people at the party are like,
Well, you have to personalize it because you've already put the time in. So I get that why the third one is.
But nobody, so, and then on the fourth one, he wraps it up to go, I really am not great with lyrics.
That's
I
all
wish,
I got
I
no
don't,
mouth.
I don't know where to go. I don't know what else to say in this song except, let's waste another 9 seconds of your life as I sing one more time, Happy Birthday, and let's drag it out if we could, to make this 25, 30 seconds of your life that no one is ever going to get back. I'm done. I don't want to be a part of Happy Birthday song.
You
Well,
really should write
I know.
a new song. That would be funny. Like every
People have
line's
tried.
different.
The Beatles have happy. They say it's your birthday. Way better song.
Great,
Happy
it's a much
birthday
better
to
song.
you. There's
We
a
Well, the
can
this-
say
other
that
problem
for
is
them.
not everybody has this like a voice that's like the sweet mahogany of yours, Kaler. Like there is some really. I would rather have severe dental surgery than listen to my wife sing ever.
Yeah.
And I am going to, at least for the next 10 years, going to have to hear it sung 3 times a year.
And let's face it, half the people just move their mouth. They're not even singing it, and they know the lyrics. It's
And
a
it's
joke.
tough to stand
The-
there and take it all too. It's
Do you
tough
know-
to stand there and just listen.
The person who wrote that song made a shit ton of money. Do you know that? There's royalty
Yeah.
rights.
It
You
was two
can't
women
you
or
can't
something?
write a song with one lyric and then expect money for it. No, absolutely not. It's
I
extremely.
mean, Michael
incorrect.
Buffer, he has one line and he copyrighted it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So what if we do this instead? We got to make a
Yes.
change where it's just like and go, hey everybody, we're gonna sing Happy Birthday, and everyone just goes Happy Birthday, end. That's how it
That's it.
ends. End,
Happy
and then everyone knows cut the cake and let's get the fuck out of here. Speaking of getting the fuck out of here,
I'm gonna get the fuck out.
8:59. You have 1 minute to grab another cocktail, and then you can queue up and watch Jeff Lewis play some
Yes.
Twitch. Jason,
I'll
you
be
got to go in and
playing-
play with him sometime.
I
Vampires.
absolutely will.
I-
You name the game, Jeff, and I will pop
All
in.
right. Well, tonight I'm playing Vampire Survivors, so please come and watch.
That's
the
a real game. That's a real game.
It's a real game. It's fun. And I'm
Well, isn't
excited.
everyone a vampire survivor? Like even the people who become vampires, or are they dead?
Jamie, I can't intellectualize
I
it.
don't
I'm
know that
sorry.
they
You're gonna have to.
survived it.
Okay, if you want to
actually.
know how to survive a vampire killing, you need to get over to Twitch now.
Okay.
For Jeff Lewis, Jason Gowin, Jamie Kaler, thank you for letting us get some stuff off
Bye,
our chest.
everyone.
Great audience tonight. You guys were hilarious.
Oh my God, you guys were fantastic.
Yeah, super funny.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell people, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are just finding us for the first time, we're here live every Thursday night and some Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and you can catch us over on YouTube.com/The Parents Lounge or Facebook.com/The Parents Lounge Show, and you'll get updates on when we're going live and all the live events, stand-up comedy shows, and all the other things that we're involved in.
Yeah.
And remember, hey, let's be cool to each other, man. Jeff, you
Let's
look
do it,
great
man.
tonight. Jason, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Everybody
You're
did
the
a wonderful
best.
show tonight. So thanks so
Happy
much for everybody.
birthday
Just
to
being.
you.
Thank you, Jamie. That's very sweet of you. You're so positive and kind.
All right, I love you all. See you next
Bye,
time here on the
everybody.
Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.
I'll be streaming right now. Bye bye.